everybody, and welcome to Rise of the Podcast. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Kara.
I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Brownie.
Oh, Chris, I've lost count. Is this 80?
It is number 80.
This is 80, our
We're
80th
ancient.
episode.
I know.
And so last week was Halloween, and we had a Halloween episode. We still have some C-3PO remnants up there. He's just too cute to not take him
make
down.
him-
It did dance a little bit. But it was really fun. We did all this taste testing and had all this fun candy. That was a podcast, remember.
Jeremy was the only one who enjoyed the black licorice.
Oh,
Gross.
Daryl, who is the maker of All Hallows Eve, wrote me a private message saying how much he loves black licorice.
Well, we all know you're touched in the head, so.
And we're off to a great start. Anyways, we're here. I'm Jeremy, as you all know, but we have Tiffany today. And if you guys didn't know, Tiffany is like one of, Kara has a couple, but one of Kara's best friends.
Yep.
And she's all the way up.
For many moons.
Yes.
Let's
if
see,
you-
what, 12 years old?
We were 12, 11, 12, somewhere in there.
So many moons.
Preteens.
Yep.
And so you guys have been friends for so long. And Tiffany, you were up here because Kara had a baby shower.
yeah.
And so we thought, we want to, be able to spend some time together since she came all the way up here. And it's just for today, really. You're
Yeah,
leaving
I'm
tomorrow.
leaving tomorrow.
So that seems to be the way that guests are. My sister was on here. She was on here
Yeah.
one day and gone the next.
Yep.
Yep.
So that seems to be a theme. Anyway, so you're up here, and so we're going to tell some fun stories about maybe like that Kara has from growing up that you want to share with us. And,
Nothing embarrassing.
we can
No,
talk about
no.
Mando Star Wars. Because you're
Season
recent-
episode 1.
Yes, I haven't
We're not
seen
talking
2.
episode 2 yet.
No, that's way too soon
Yeah.
for spoiler
Yeah.
purposes.
please
So, but anyways, all right. Let's get okay. So you guys knew each other for 12 years. Why don't you,
Yes.
Kara? Do you want to tell a
We
Tiffany
met
story?
at 12 years old, so we've known each other
Yes.
much longer.
I did. That's right. I didn't want to say how old you were.
I didn't say either, but I mean, I'm older than 24.
Well, we're younger than you, Jeremy.
Yeah,
so.
that's true.
Oh well,
The old fart in the room.
is me. But Kara, do you have a cool Tiffany story?
Oh, no.
Oh, man. I don't know. What stories
I don't
should I
know.
tell? Tiffany's the reason my family got our pet cockatiel, Dante.
Oh, that's
really?
right. I forgot about
Yeah.
Dante.
Dante, he's still kicking.
How?
I have no idea. That bird's like 20 years old.
Lord. Wow.
What was he born in 2000? Yeah, I think it's born in 2000.
Yeah, because we rang in the
So,
millennium
that
together.
bird is 20 years old. So Tiffany had a bird.
I did.
What was his name?
Taz.
Taz. That's right.
Yes, I
And
don't
he
know
would
why.
whistle the Andy Griffith theme song.
He did. He was pretty awesome.
Yep. And so she knew this other family who had cockatiels. And Dante was the alpha male.
Chris, you would appreciate why he's called Dante.
And
Kara, why is he called Dante?
Dante Culpepper.
Gosh, that takes me back. Oh,
Anyway, the family wanted to get rid of him because he was picking on all the other birds.
he was very mean.
And so we got a free cockatiel, complete with cage, toys, food, everything. So there you go.
He
It-
stayed.
So he's a fun little bird. He
Yes.
jumps on Kara's shoulder when she would play the piano at home, and I
He's
would
so
go
cute.
visit her at home. And then he loves his favorite spot. They have just those classic lights that there's like a dish, and then there's about this much gap between the glass
It's got
and
like
the
the
ceiling.
chains that hang it from the ceiling or whatever.
And he would always fly up there and then land in the glass.
But the fun thing is when I play piano, he'll get really, settled in, and he'll kind of ruffle up his feathers and just kind of listen
enjoy
to me
the
play while I play piano. It's like,
smooth jazz.
definitely don't play smooth jazz, buddy.
So Kara, and a couple minutes before we got started, Tiffany brought up
Oh, no.
a terminology that I haven't heard in years. So we know we have Juliet, who's down in Georgia, and we have Brad in California that watch, and we have Gabe in Puerto Rico. So we have all these people. You guys all live in warm climates, okay? So if you're used to snow, you might have heard this terminology before, but the terminology was whitewashing.
That's what we called it.
And I have not I have not thought about that since probably, maybe high school. I heard people doing
high
it
school.
to middle schoolers.
Yeah.
But
you need a lot of snow for it.
You want to tell what whitewashing is?
So the story
If you've
behind
never been
it-
whitewashed.
So I'm from warmer climates. So the story of it is when we were teenagers, preteens, your brothers. The game was in the winter. We bundled up. We go outside, and we basically ran around the place. And your brothers would chase us, and then they would whitewash us and put our faces in the snow.
Yep, just
Right there. And hold us down for quite a while.
It's kind of like in Home Alone when
Yes.
Harry, his headlight's on fire, and he goes and
Yeah, pretty much.
head in the snow. Basically that, but somebody's forcing you to do it.
Yes. Yes, it was very rough. Your brothers are mean. They're really mean.
Steven's toned down some.
Just a little
A
bit.
little bit. Since,
They're good. I mean,
Yeah.
they're my only brothers, so technically.
So the fun thing about snow and living in a snowy climate, you guys both appreciate this. Everybody does who lives here. Is there's a couple things you realize when you're around snow and what it does to bare skin. So whitewashing stinks because it burns when it's on bare skin. Snow, when it makes contact immediately, it burns a little bit, for lack of a better terminology. So shoveling, for example, you go out in your shovel and then you throw the scoop over your shoulder and the snow falls between your glove and your jacket. That feels like it's burning.
Well, wasn't it you telling me that your body doesn't know how to detect cold, and so instead of a cold feeling, it feels like it burns?
So I'll tell the so it's not just a wives' tale. I went in many years ago
Many moons.
to get a wart removed. I had a wart, and
I
on
think
my
everybody's
hand,
had a wart at some point.
and so the doctor froze it off, and I asked him specifically. I said, "Why does it burn?" And he told me, he said that your body doesn't have pain receptors for cold. So when your skin gets too cold, it freaks out, and instead of saying, "Hey, I'm cold. This is like a thing that equals this feeling equals cold," they don't have that. They just use hot instead. So it's like, oh, hot, heat, because then you'll pay attention to the site and you'll fix and do whatever is doing. But like, who here? I mean, you snow blow and the wind takes it back and hits you in the face, and that freezes.
That
Oh
hurts.
man.
I don't do that. I make Jeremy do
The
it.
closest, if you haven't experienced the burning sensation of cold, I guess the closest thing you can possibly relate it to is like when you get a brain freeze from sucking on something too cold.
True.
Like eat
Which,
too much ice
you know
cream.
what you do then?
You
You
put-
rub the roof of your mouth with your tongue.
Now, I have heard that, but have you has that been reinforced because of dental hygiene?
I do it all the
training?
time.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
so
works.
it's just personal.
It works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just that's your.
It's just
personal
your
truth.
soft palate gets too cold, and you need to warm it up. And so by rubbing causes that little bit of friction. I know it's wet in
Minuscule,
your mouth,
right?
but it the friction warms it up and gets rid of the brain freeze.
That's a good point. I didn't even realize that even when your hands are wet, like if you rub them together, even if they're soaking wet, they still feel like they're warming up.
And if you have to sneeze, you suck down on your hard soft palate.
I just say elephant.
Your what?
On your soft palate and hard palate.
Okay.
If you suck down, like, it opens everything up or whatever, and it prevents you. Well, not prevents you, but it kind of takes away that feeling when you sneeze.
I always just say elephant.
Elephant?
Or people
Elephant?
tell you to sneeze on command. They're like, sneeze, sneeze, and then
Yep.
you can't.
Or I'll tell people,
That's so
excuse
mean.
you. Or
Yeah. Oh, excuse you ahead of
yeah,
time.
or bless you.
Tiffany, you've never had that happen?
You say elephant?
I've
Yeah.
never said
If
elephant,
personally,
that's
if
Jeremy.
if you are about to sneeze, just say
Okay.
elephant, elephant, elephant as many times as you can,
Oh.
and you won't sneeze.
That works on fire smoke. When you're sitting
What?
around a fire, yes, if you sit around a fire and the smoke is like, because it always follows beauty. And
Yes,
if you
girl.
say rabbit, 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 it moves away.
I've heard that.
Yeah, see? Okay, I'm not crazy.
You're not
So-
crazy. I've heard that.
Now, speaking of like old urban legends, I always heard if you want good luck for the month,
Oh,
what the first thing you say on the first day of the month out of your mouth is rabbit rabbit day, and that's supposed to give you good luck for the whole month. So
Interesting.
I think
Maybe
about it every
saying
now
a
and then.
rabbit around smoke is just good luck to make smoke go somewhere else.
possibly.
That's interesting that it's.
Or we could be making up a lot of stuff right now.
Good. Has
If you
anybody
wanna-
else heard these folk tales?
Right in if you say elephant when you sneeze, although I'll probably be the only one. I think it
Probably.
must
Yep.
be a thing with people who like black
Definitely.
licorice. But if you can take away
Probably.
anything from this, yes, there you go. Write us at contact@riseofthepodcast.com if you want us to read your mail on the
Have
podcast.
you gotten anything lately?
The Gabe has been the last one, and that guy's emails are the best. Him and Brad, they send awesome emails. And Juliet loves watching the podcast. She just always comes in right at the tail end of it.
Yeah. We actually we put up her letter today. Fine. Well, kind of. Didn't hang it on the wall like we said, but we put it up.
We put it up. It just haven't figured out a good way to attach it yet.
Yeah.
Ashley also says rabbit day 1 of the month.
No way!
So it does exist.
So, well, I had heard that. That's so cool that she actually does it. That's so neat. Where did that stem from? I feel like, have I heard that? But it's always stuck with me.
And why a rabbit?
Well, like it's
I've
like
never heard of any of the things that you guys have said.
really. Well, everybody's heard of knock on wood, right?
Yes.
So I guess I believe that's an Irish thing. And when you knock on wood, you're asking for, I think it's more or less a blessing from the spirit living in the wood.
There's-
Something along those lines. It may not
Okay.
be exact, but it's along those lines.
And it's Irish.
I believe it's Irish.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Ashley and David said sitting around a fire they were told to say I hate white rabbits.
Really?
Oh,
So it's
that
still
seems-
rabbit themed though.
Huh.
What is it
about
with rabbits?
Rabbits are like
Rabbits suck. I hate rabbits.
Really? I love rabbits.
We've told the story about how there's a vacuum sucking rabbit that would chew on David's Ethernet cables. David, I'm sure, I don't know how he feels about rabbits, but they can be quite
I
frustrating.
grew up with rabbits. Oh, have I ever told the story? It's kind of gruesome. Not too bad. But you know we grew up with rabbits.
Yes.
Right. So we had 2 rabbits, separate cages. Somehow they had babies. Okay.
So gruesome.
I know. It was so gruesome. And so I decided I wanted one of them to be mine. And it was this adorable white and brown rabbit. I named it Chucky. That was a mistake.
Yes, it was.
You'd make Matt happy.
It ate its brothers and sisters.
No way.
Yep. Killed them. Just straight up, just
Wow.
done. It ended up being a fitting name. Don't know if I cursed that poor rabbit or what, but it definitely lived up to the name Chucky.
So I have. We're gonna circle back to a rabbit story, but I just want to comment on the fact that I would have never guessed on the car ride on the way here that we'd be talking about rabbits to the extent that we are. But what made me laugh is when we asked Tiffany to come on the podcast. You sound like everybody else. You say, "I don't know anything about Star Wars," or "I can't talk about Star Wars," and my response is always, "Really? We like talk about it for a little bit, but
It's
then
like
the rest of
5%
it,
of the podcast.
but then the rest of it is all talking." So. Chris and Kara, you guys are going to have to tell me if I've talked about the land survival rabbit.
I don't.
Have I told that story on the podcast?
I don't know if
I
you've
don't
told me
think
that story
so.
in real life.
All right. So,
real quick, Gabriel says I invited you guys to our Discord.
oh, heck
And
yeah.
Ashley says, my mom has 1 million rabbits now. The moms are always trying to eat their babies.
Really?
But do the siblings eat the babies? That's the thing. Like,
Well, you did name him Chucky.
I did.
So what do you
And
expect?
he was super cute. He was brown and white. Like I said, it was a super cute rabbit.
What did you do with him after he ate everybody?
Obviously went to rabbit death row and got what he deserved.
Right?
I think he died. Like, not long after he died.
From cannibalism.
Right?
He got
Seriously?
rabbit jitters because with cannibalism's like shake, right?
Oh my
I
gosh.
wouldn't know, dude.
There's like
I
a
know,
neurological
right?
disease you can develop from
Yeah.
eating human flesh.
For real?
Yeah.
Ew.
Oh yeah. That's why in like was it the Book of Eli? They the people that eat in and they're
Mm-hmm.
shaking, and that's how he knew that they were cannibals or they were gonna eat them. Is they
So
shake?
is it
That's
like-
the dead giveaway.
Not to get into like the weird subject of cannibalism, but like
This would have been a
Is it
good
like-
subject for last week.
seriously, is it like eating people over a long period of time, or is it like if you do it once, it's like that's it? Like,
Well, if
good
it's
luck.
your main sustenance.
Yeah, I think it's
Okay.
like an accumulation of something over
Okay.
time.
Yeah.
I was gonna
So
say,
you're free to just keep intermittently snacking on humans, Kara.
Yeah.
Don't tell anyone. Shh. Just kidding. But no, I was thinking about like there's been plane crashes before.
Yep.
Where people have been stranded and they end up cannibalizing each other.
But do they
like the
really?
ones that die off.
Or is that an urban legend as well? Are this
No,
the
there
same
was-
people
there
that
was
wake
the
up and
soccer
say
team.
"Rabbit, Rabbit Day"?
No, there was like that one soccer team that they were.
Yeah, they crashed in the Alps and all
Yeah.
that.
They really ate each other.
Oh, yeah.
When one of them would
It
die
was the
off.
Donner Party, the famous Donner
Yep.
Party.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
They got stranded in a mountain pass on their way to California and they ate each other.
Dang.
Yeah. They
Speaking.
didn't kill each other off. They waited for somebody to die.
Yeah,
but...
they would do the humane thing and let you just die of being cold first.
Dang. Meat's fresh, but anyways,
Oh my
so
gosh.
this is not the
Whoa.
rabbit story because we're gonna go back to that and that's gruesome.
Okay.
But I just read an article
Welcome to Rise of
today
the Podcast.
that a guy was en route. Somebody died, and they were an organ donor, and so they took. This just happened in California, I believe. Guy takes the heart out and they give it to the med flight. The medevac flight crashed. The firemen knew that there was a heart on board, ran over there, extracted the heart, drove it to the hospital, handed it to the doctor, and the doctor dropped it. So not only did it survive a plane crash, but then the doctor dropped it. I didn't hear whether it was still salvageable after the doctor dropped it, but it was
I
like,
would fire that doctor.
5-second rule.
yeah, right?
All right, guys. I talked King of Germs. All right, guys. It's not been 5 seconds. Don't jump on it yet.
Well, so one of the comments on the article was exactly that. They're like, okay, you have a transplant coming to you. Hold on. Like, it's coming. And then, oh my gosh, it just crashed. Oh, hold on. The firemen are coming with it. Just a little longer. Oh, the doctor dropped it. Do you still want it? Like, I mean, at that point, the
That's
person
enough
doesn't
to
have
give
a
you a
choice.
heart
attack.
Yeah, right.
we need organ donors.
So that would remind me. We were just
Yeah.
talking about eating people that die in plane crashes. It just reminded me of the fact that that guy
This is a
What a
weird
day.
podcast.
What
Also,
a day.
think that Heart was in a car accident and a helicopter crash. And within minutes of each other.
Isn't that insane?
I would say that heart is cursed. That's all I've got to say
That
about
guy was
that.
probably a dick.
Right? Okay, so back to gruesome. All right, so
That wasn't?
gruesome.
I know, right? Like,
So years ago, I went to. I'm trying to just figure out what I can say here, and this is Chris is like, ooh, good. Let me take my notebook. Let me
Area 52, please.
Right?
scan this out to the world.
I'll trade you this KFC sauce for all your secrets.
Right. So I went to a land survival training. I think we're good up to that point. We can talk about that. So I learned how to survive in the woods. All right. This is like Boy Scouts on steroids. And so part of the thing we had to do was we had to kill a rabbit
Poor
and
bunny.
eat it for dinner. So what is it? What, like, oh man, this is really going to make people pick on us.
Did you use a snare?
They can't trust us to successfully be able to capture a rabbit. So for training's sake, they bring bunnies out, like actual pet rabbits or store-raised rabbits. And so in case we don't snare one, but yes, Chris, we did snare a squirrel. And so we ate the squirrel, and then we didn't snare any rabbits.
What's squirrel taste like?
Oh, it's fine.
Is it nutty?
It is gamey, but it's
gonna love
fine.
this.
It's totally fine. So
Squirrel.
so they bring out the cage. The instructor brings out the cage, and they open it up, and they take the little rabbit. And he says, so now to kill this rabbit, you just grab it by the feet, and you take a board, and you hit it on the back of the head, and that will kill it, right? And so this is gruesome. You guys went here.
Oh,
not me.
okay.
No,
Sensitive
no.
viewer warning.
So absolutely, if you are sensitive to animal cruelty, please leave.
Please
now.
stop listening 10 minutes ago.
right? Seriously?
Please leave now. So this is true. This stuff happens. I'm realized we're probably gonna get PETA sending us hate mail now, but this is what happens in land survival training and survival training. You eat this rabbit, you got to kill it. I mean, we're gonna eat it. And so one of the members of our group was like, "I got this," and they wanted to be the one who did it.
Oh, no.
So when they grabbed the bunny by the legs and they took the bat and they hit it,
Don't call it a bunny. Just call it a
A
rabbit.
rabbit.
It's not as...
they hit the rabbit and it wasn't hard enough to kill it, but it popped its eyeball.
No.
Oh my gosh.
So all I remember was like my jaw hit the floor because I was like, and so they were freaking out because now the rabbit's alive. So I've never, like, the instructor, you know, when a toddler's about to like walk off the edge and everyone just dives for it, the instructor immediately grabs the board, whack, and just put it out of his misery. But I could not believe it. And that story has stuck with me. I have not told it on the podcast, apparently, because it scarred everyone watching and listening.
You've told me that story before, but it's heartbreaking every time. Don't ever call it a bunny. Just call it a rabbit.
No.
Bunny is cute. Rabbit is distanced.
And
Just call it Chucky from now on.
yeah,
Exactly.
right.
Yeah.
Chris, that's what Chucky should have got, huh?
Yeah.
He should have got it.
Call it like a garden rat or something.
Yes.
A carrot rat.
I hate rabbits. So.
Okay, so then I just saw this. I saw a map of the United States, and funny enough, there's like 10 states that allow you to own
Kangaroo?
raccoon,
Oh.
and I believe a skunk. And Wisconsin, Minnesota,
Why?
no. Wisconsin, yes, you can own a raccoon as a pet.
Well, you know what's
You
even...
know, that doesn't surprise me that the state of Wisconsin,
I've owned
in their
raccoon.
infinite wisdom,
Really?
will let you keep a rabid, diseased, filthy rodent, best known for digging through garbage cans with their sweaty little hands, as a
Tiffany's
pet.
owned a raccoon.
I have raised a raccoon.
I think Missouri was probably the other place you could own one.
Yep,
Well, of
they can
course
run
it
for
is.
mayor
It's
in
everything
Missouri.
in Missouri.
So I will...
Chris's joke? He said raccoons could probably run for mayor in Missouri.
Probably. Yeah.
I'm going to top Jeremy's little fact about owning raccoons. Did you know that you can legally own kangaroos here in the U.S. in certain states?
Do you know which states?
Kangaroos are terrifying.
Wisconsin, you can own one with a permit.
Of course it's Wisconsin, Chris. You can own a kangaroo
But
with
you need a permit.
You need a
There
permit.
are states you don't even need a permit. Minnesota, you just straight up can't own one. But I love kangaroos.
There's gonna be some sort of weird, like, marsupial-based Joe Exotic in Superior.
There's got to be one, I'm sure, or somewhere in
Did
Wisconsin.
you say Joe Exotic?
Yeah, like the Tiger King, but he said marsupial based.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like he's just slinging baby kangaroos for mall presents.
Schmo mildly international.
So Chris, I saw one more funny thing that did remind me of you when I saw it, and it was actually a picture.
Am I gonna be offended by this?
No, you'll love it. Weirdly enough, to keep up with the current trend. Again, I don't know what's with small game today, but it was a picture of a possum, a raccoon.
Well, is it possum or opossum?
It's
I
a
don't
possum.
know.
It's actually a
It's
possum.
I'm
Oh,
from Missouri.
is it
It's
opossum?
possum.
Is it with an O but said like an A?
No,
a possum?
it's possum.
It's just possum without
possum.
it. Okay,
I-
possum.
my entire so not to derail.
No, it's all right.
My entire life, it's been spelled, but like it's been used interchangeably. And suddenly, like recently, everyone's like, "You idiots!" It's one of the two. Nobody can make up their fucking mind.
Right?
But like suddenly, it's like hardline stance, and it's like, who cares?
It's like
gross.
Baby Yoda and the child.
What?
Baby
Yeah.
Yoda.
Okay, I need you to, as I can't remember the last animal, it's important to the story. What other thing would be like a possum or a raccoon that's the same size and,
Armadillo.
Armadillo.
but are they down in south by
Yeah.
you?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, on the side
Okay,
of the road.
I mean,
I've never seen them alive.
there's a southern
Yeah.
cat animal.
But anyways, it was the cutest little picture, and it was at night, like on somebody's back porch, and there was literally a raccoon with the garbage tipped over it, and he was eating it but looking at the camera. And then there was a possum that was like moving in on the garbage, and then there was an armadillo, and somebody took a picture of it in the back porch, but somebody captioned it, and they said, "What if Professor Oak was standing there?" And he's like, "Ooh, here's your starters." So like you get to choose between a possum, an armadillo, or a raccoon.
That is.
So that reminded me of you just because
Yes.
of Pokemon,
Oh
which was
my
which was
I
great.
approve.
That's so
Goodness.
funny.
And so if you were gonna pick one of those three to go into battle with,
Probably the armadillo.
Oh.
raccoon easily.
You think
What
so?
would you go for?
It's got thumbs.
So,
You can give it knives and guns.
They are little greedy trash pandas.
so fun fact about your trash panda, they purr.
Really?
They do. I mean, because I've owned one, and he would like curl up around my neck.
What? I can't
Um,
believe it.
Yeah, it's just like a cat.
You guys think you didn't have anything to talk about. You owned a raccoon. We could talk about it for all night if we wanted
Well,
to.
in all fairness, we've owned a lot of random animals, but mainly because we were rescuing them. And this little guy had probably not even a week old, and we just fed him and took care of him, and he purred, and I mean, didn't sleep like in our house because that's weird. But
Oh, he totally was slept in bed with me.
he
Jeremy
would.
knows it's true.
And then he ended up being a very fat raccoon because we took him to Grandpa's cabin and ate a lot of cat food. And I'm pretty sure it's somewhere out there, just the fattest raccoon there ever was.
Still around?
I'm pretty
Just
sure.
a little
I'm gonna think
chonker,
that.
just-
I'm gonna think he's not one of the many that I have seen on the side of the road.
Crazy.
Have you noticed any really chunky ones though?
Yeah,
Well, it
but it's not. It's not. I'm just gonna say that.
what was his name?
That's a good question. What is there a raccoon? I don't remember now.
It's Rocket Raccoon.
No,
It's probably bandit or thief or
it probably
steely.
was. I mean, it was when we were little, so it wasn't a
thieving
name that
grab
stuck. I
hands.
guess. I don't know. Oh goodness.
That's cool. So you
It's
said you
Missouri.
own. So any other pets that come to mind off the top of your head?
Make sure to keep in mind statute of limitations for illegally owning exotic pets.
Well, I mean, that I've owned. We did have a mourning dove named
Oh.
Chicken.
That is an awesome name company.
He had fallen out of the nest once again, baby, and we taught him how to fly because he couldn't fly. So you just like Taz and Dante, you like put him on your finger and move him up and down, and
Yep, make their wings.
and then
flap.
help them figure out how to do that. Lots of turtles, lots and lots of. I had a soft shell turtle. You've met Norma, I think. Maybe.
Did you have her when you got married?
No, we had her for, so she started off probably the size of a $50. We found her
Dang.
in some sand. We didn't mean to find her. I was picking up the sand, and there was a turtle in it, and we had already driven off, so we just kept the turtle. Got a big old 50-gallon tank. It's funny because they're like little like snake. Almost. So they have really, really long necks. And she would
Really?
sleep under the sand and like all the way under the sand, head and everything. And then once in a while, she would be asleep and she would poke her head up out of the water.
Cute.
Take a little breath and go back down. She was pretty cool. And she would follow your finger when you had food. She's very entertaining. But we had to get rid of her because they will outlive you. And we didn't get,
Oh, I thought
get
this
rid
was
of her.
its shady criminal past.
No, my sister has a pond that had other similar
Oh,
animals.
cool.
So we just let her go off there, and I'm assuming, really okay and fine.
She probably is.
She's under
fine.
the sand. She's
Yeah.
fine. No, I think that's about it. Turtles and raccoons.
James said you wouldn't think raccoons are so cute when you wake up in your tent with one staring at you.
So I
That's
feel like
just
there's
creepy.
I was gonna say I feel like there's a story there, James. If you feel like typing it out, let us. Chris will read it.
AJ.
Or you can send it to
Or you can send it out to contact
in an outrageous amount of detail. You can send it to contact@risethepodcast.com.
AJ's terrified of raccoons.
Really?
He is. That's right.
Good to know.
So there was a raccoon that was killing my parents' chickens. And so one night...
So it's super effective against birds. What I mean, what I'm hearing.
Right? The flying type.
So Chris at least got that going for him.
And so my younger brother, AJ, he sat on the roof of my parents' house at night, waited for that raccoon to come sneaking up to the chicken coop, and he disposed of him.
Oh.
And ever since then, he swears he sees raccoons.
Oh, he
just
feels like it's out
hearing-
for revenge,
Yep,
right?
he
Yes.
feels
'Cause
like
he doesn't know if it was
raccoons are out for revenge, and he thinks he sees them everywhere. Like,
You know that's why you don't mess with crows, right?
Oh,
Crows
yeah.
Crows will
hold
never
grudges,
forget
and
you.
they can pass that grudge on and tell like other crows and stuff. Like
Oh.
I will give the widest berth to any amount of crows.
I mean, they
don't
call
need
him a murder for a reason.
I don't need my family to be cursed by a crow that like took me trying to walk to my car the wrong way.
That now reminds me of two things. So our neighbor was worried about us killing a crow. 'Cause she has no,
You did tell that story.
I did, yeah. And so so there was that story, but there's that experiment somebody did where they would pay birds and food or crows and food.
Yeah, like figure out the mechanisms to get the food out.
They made them for litter. So the birds would
Oh.
go around and they would pick up all the litter in the park and they would bring it back and they would give them food.
That's cool.
The problem is the birds started making litter or ripping up so they would fly out, and if they found a cigarette butt, they would rip it into 3 and then bring it back one cigarette butt 3 times to get more food rather than just bring it back in one shot.
Those shady capitalists.
So they're like they're that
Genius.
smart that they
Animals
will.
are smarter than we give them credit for.
They are. They really
So they were very consistent. But Chris, so here's all the places you can legally own a raccoon.
Uh-oh.
Arkansas, Delaware, Florida, Indiana, Nebraska, North and South Carolina, Virginia, Michigan, Wyoming, Wisconsin, Texas, Rhode Island, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, West Virginia. But there are caveats.
Delaware is the only one that was surprising to me.
So Missouri's
Wait,
not
Missouri
on
wasn't
there?
even on the
No.
list.
Crap.
But
It
there's
was the Arkansas side of Missouri.
oh
I was totally close.
no, you're gonna love this. So in North Carolina, there is a stipulation that it must be approved by a vet before it's even brought into the state, before you can bring your pet into the North Carolina for pet ownership. But it
Okay.
said,
Dang.
be careful in Arkansas, you can't own more than 5.
Oh my gosh, it was like, I got my whole litter of raccoons
Have you
over
been
there.
to Arkansas? Like, that would make sense.
Yeah.
And I can say that.
And it's it's funny because there's a rule because somebody had too many raccoons.
Yes.
So you
Like,
know somebody
okay,
had,
Norma, you can have some raccoons, but like 5. Is that enough?
So it's like, what's the story behind somebody having
That's-
too many raccoons?
That's not a good Arkansas accent. That's like a Texas.
It was funny though.
So technically, I didn't have it as a pet.
Yeah, it just was
You
on
I
your-
don't have a criminal
rescuing it.
background. I just became a criminal.
No, you're fine. What
It's
what
Good Samaritan
defines
Act.
ownership,
Good Samaritan Act.
right?
Yes, I was
Statute of
nursing it back
limitations.
to health.
It's still alive. It's not.
We're here exposing
okay.
all of your
So you
deepest
didn't keep
crimes.
it, you
Welcome to
released
Rise
it,
of the
you
Crime Cast.
You didn't buy a collar with its name on it and like
You
a
didn't even know his
harness
name.
and-
No, I don't see there.
There you go.
So
It
I
wasn't
can't.
a pet.
You can't
She
even
was
write up.
rehabilitating.
Wasn't even a pet.
Technically speaking, for it to be a pet, doesn't it have to be like registered?
You'd think so, yeah.
Technically, yes.
Yeah, like you would have to get a pet license for it and get its rabies shots. You didn't do that. So.
No, I didn't.
You're good.
No, I did not.
She's not Tiffany Exotic.
That is a very different sounding name.
That is a very different.
Nope. Nope,
Joe
nope,
can
nope.
get away with it,
Moving
but
on.
not Tiffany. So funny.
Goodness.
I would
Oh
have,
my
yeah.
gosh.
I would have never guessed. Anybody other have any weird animal stories? I'm just trying
Well,
to think.
Steven had his squirrel.
He did have a squirrel.
Steven, and again, that
Bush.
wasn't even really a. They
I
just.
loved Bush. I don't think there's any laws against owning a squirrel.
True.
I don't know.
I don't
bet
know.
you there
I don't know
is.
that there would be any appeal to owning a squirrel, but
Oh, but they're so sweet. Jeremy showed me a video today. This lady has a pet squirrel, and she was holding it and scratching its belly, and it had a little acorn in its mouth, and it was just making the cutest little noises. And she was like, "Just trust me, I'm gonna take your little acorn away." And she took it away, and then she put a little harness on him,
Oh
and
my.
then gave him back his little acorn, and he started making those cute little noises again while she scratched his belly. Oh, he was so sweet. I feed squirrels at my house. I'm sure I've said this about 100 times, and I love them.
You.
They are cute. They really are. They like.
I love little gray squirrels. They're so fat.
They are
Oh my
really cute.
goodness.
What's the closest squirrel Pokemon?
Squirrel. I don't know. Like
There's that
probably-
electric nut Kichu or whatever that one was.
Well, oh no, that's based on a sugar glider, I think.
Oh, that one is?
I love sugar
It's a
gliders
relative.
too. Sugar gliders are awesome.
Oh, they were cool. I'm trying to think because like for some reason I was thinking Rattata, but that's clearly there's rat right in the
Ew.
name.
Yeah, squirrel.
on,
I'm
let's
sure
go.
it's super
Google
obvious.
it.
There's 8,000 Pokemon.
Nowadays there is.
Yeah, we're gonna look this up really
All
quick,
right. Well,
boys.
Kara's looking that up. I'm trying to think.
Let's see.
Well, here I'll just read this.
They're
It said-
animal
Gabe said
stories.
we're gonna send you guys some cool shirts for Christmas with our pages logo for being awesome with them.
Oh,
That's it. We
I will wear them.
We need to come up with some merch.
Oh.
I know we do. We really do. At this point, we really. We're gonna give you a shirt for being on today, Tiffany.
Really? I get a
Yeah.
shirt?
Well, if we had them, we just we
Oh.
need to make merch.
Guys, he's
Jeremy, promise withdrawal much.
I know.
My heart just broke.
there's his name is Squolvet.
Is that the sugar acorn one?
No, he's so
He's
cute.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Aw.
He's
so
adorable.
No, I don't remember him.
So there's Squolvet, and then there's one other one. Hold on, Pachirisu.
That's the.
Pachirisu, that's
the
sugar
electric
glider
one.
Well,
Sugar
but he
glider.
doesn't look like a sugar glider.
He,
There's
he is.
there's this one that looks more like a sugar glider.
Oh, who's that one?
That's Emolga.
Oh, Emolga. Emolga is one that I was thinking of. Pachirisu is like a
That's-
Pikachu clone. Yeah. Okay, yep, that is a squirrel.
Aw,
An electric
that's a
squirrel.
fair
Emolga is flying electric, I believe.
So yeah,
Which is a
Emolga
really good
definitely looks
typing.
like the sugar glider. Sorry.
Well, we know. So
Whatever.
So there's two squirrels.
I just want to get my Doug Trio. That's all I care about.
That's all Chris wants.
So yes, we need to make T-shirts.
So
There's a few different T-shirts we need to make.
we will. Oh, and hey, Gabe, you're still here. Gabe is on the podcast. We do need to make him a name
We
tag.
renamed Wicket into Gabe.
Yes, much better.
Yep.
Yep, this is Gabriel the Ewok.
And guess what's
Um,
still sitting at our house?
Yeah, I
needing
know.
to be sent
It-
out.
I know. I know it's there. Actually, Chris, I can tell that story, and just the context of it. This isn't like a big crazy story or anything, but just the way that I told it to Chris, he laughed and he didn't think I knew how mailboxes work. So for years,
He doesn't know how a conditioner works, so.
Well, why would he need to?
Tiffany, I used to use conditioner
First.
before
Yeah.
shampoo.
That's pretty sad.
Oh my goodness.
So, oh my gosh, I see a wall of text.
It is quite a story.
Is it from Jim?
Yeah.
We will wait on our story for Jim's
Okay.
story.
Let's
All right.
go to the wide here.
All right.
That is like it's like okay.
That is a wall. You
Woke up with my whole tent shaking and growling going on. Well, let me get the. I woke up with my whole tent shaking and growling going on. Saw the shadow of a bear going across my tent. Grabbed my big maglet to defend myself. Sounds and tent rattling moved to one side of the tent, so I rolled over to face death straight on. Figured I would turn on the light and make a bunch of noise and scare the bear away. Turn on the light, and looking at me straight in the eye was a raccoon eating my crackers, which I forgot to put away. It looked shocked, hissed, and ran for the corner. I jumped out of my sleeping bag and almost ran out of the side of the tent. Got the door open, and he ran out. Had to hit him on the nose because he tried to come back in. The bear shadow was the raccoon going by the glow plug for my extension cord. For the entire week I was camping, every time I looked out in the middle of the night, he was sitting by a tree in my campsite.
Oh my gosh.
Awesome.
That's what they say. If you feed them, they don't go away, right?
Yeah, well, apparently if you bonk him on the nose, they don't go away either.
Right?
James.
He was just angry. He was just sitting staring like, how dare you?
James, and this is for you too, Tiffany. Funny story. I have a funny story.
No, you have to do this. Funny story.
Funny story.
Better. Okay.
Chris, you're gonna love this. Kara hasn't heard it yet. This is a brand new Rise of the Podcast story that is gonna be really funny. I swear.
Certified fresh.
It's not my story, but it is mine to tell tonight.
Oh,
All
dear.
right. So my coworker Rich, and so I have, I've talked about Derek. I've talked about my coworkers. Derek loves how much we talk about him, and I'm like, Derek, you're a cool
a little
guy.
narcissistic.
No, no, Derek's cool. He's a cool guy, right?
Does he watch the podcast?
He watches it until he's not talked about anymore, and then he leaves.
Oh my Gosh.
I'm just kidding.
Baby.
Well, that's a great story.
Bad diarrhea, so when he went to sleep, they taped him in a sleeping bag. I mean, he's
Oh.
told me.
Gosh, that's mean.
All of
I
these
would,
stories.
as soon as I got out of that sleeping bag, I would murder everybody on that place.
I
Oh,
mean-
he crapped himself in the sleeping bag.
Well,
Like,
yeah,
and
obviously.
he said the gurgling was so loud, like you could hear the gurgle, and the guy's like, "This isn't funny. This isn't funny. Let me out." He was all duct taped in there, and oh man, he crapped himself.
Not a single person would survive that camping
No,
trip.
here's the thing. What happened in my pants at that moment would be all over the people who duct taped me into my sleeping bag.
So my coworker is very good at telling stories too. He's hilarious. He should be a voice actor. He can do. We played the phone forehead game when Tiffany and Jody were up, where you do like different categories, and we got accents,
up.
and I could not do Christopher Walken for the life of me.
Oh, your Christopher Walken was so freaking funny.
It's so bad.
I wish we had that video.
See, Chris is a good Christopher.
It's
Walken.
okay.
Let's hear it, Jeremy.
I need more cowbell. I don't know.
I got Sylvester Stallone. Yo, Adrian.
I just can't do Christopher
You know why the
Walken.
Yankees always win? It's because they're always looking at their pinstripes.
I cannot do it. Like
No.
Norman, I'll try to do anything. As we're playing this game, I locked up. Like programming does not compute. I locked up. This is all just giving you a little bit of background about Rich. All right, I'm going to tell the story now. So as it's hunting season in Minnesota and people are out hunting this weekend, this was a fresh story I had never heard Rich. I've known Rich for over 10 years. It's a fresh story I had never heard him tell. So he was in the shack. They were sitting there. There was 4 people in the shack. 2 of the guys had already gone to bed. And Rich and this other guy are playing cards. And this reminds me of James' story. This is why I brought it up. So they're just sitting there playing cards. And they had one lantern on the table, like with the kerosene.
Okay.
Kerosene lantern on the table. That was it. And so Rich is sitting there. And he says he gets that, like, inquisitive look. And the guy sitting across from him is like, "What? What?" And Rich goes, "Don't move." And of course, that makes the guy freak out, right? And so the guy sits there and says, "What?" So Rich said he saw 2 red little beady eyes looking at him. And what it was is he used a specific name. It's when a weasel turns white for the winter. There's a name for that.
Oh, yeah.
What's it? Do you know what?
There's a rabbits do too, or a certain rabbit does. Jackrabbits or something.
But there's a name for that specific one. It
Yeah.
starts with like an E or something. So
Oh.
it was
Yeah, they call it like a different animal, even though
Yeah.
it's the same one.
yeah.
Oh, what is it called?
So, all right. So these 2 little beady eyes looking at him, right? And he goes, "There is blank on your pillow." So behind this guy was a weasel sitting upright watching them play cards.
Ermine.
And
Yes.
that's it. Because I said it started with an E. An ermine. That was it. It was an ermine sitting behind him. So, guys, they're hunting, right? What was on the table?
Oh my gosh.
A handgun.
Oh no.
So the guy goes, and he was drunk. He's like, "I gotta kill it." So he reaches out and grabs for the gun, and as he turned around, Rich like tries to reach over and stop him, knocking over the lamp. So as soon as he goes and he turns around, they're inside a cabin. There's walls, people. There's walls. The guy goes like this, and he's like, kaboom! And Rich knocked the lamp over, so it was gunshot and darkness. So they're scrambling around. They get the flashlight and they look. It's gone. There's a hole in the cabin wall. And he's like, Rich is like, what are you doing? Holy crap, what are you doing? You know? And so the guy's like, I think I got it. And they look, he didn't get it. So now, like, for AJ, there is a mad Ermine running around the cabin that just got shot at. But it's like the guy's drunk and yeah, he shot right through. So there is a hole in the cabin wall that they had to patch. Because he shot right for the ermine. He was drunk. He was like, he thought it would get him in the middle of the night or something and like bite him in the neck and suck his blood. So
I mean, that's what weasels do.
yeah, they drain the blood of their.
Victims. I've had plenty of geese and ducks and chickens die by weasels. So.
Yeah.
Ashley says, sounds like Clue.
Oh man. But can you believe it? He's like, just his first instinct is like, I gotta shoot it. And he just like,
That would happen to Rich.
you know.
Like,
Well, then everybody
of all
else in the
people.
cabin, you know, there's like
you
a
wake up
gun
to-
going off.
Right, can
Have
you
you
imagine?
woken up to a gunshot?
Not that close. I mean, I've heard firing outside.
I've woken up to a gunshot in a deer stand before. I'd fallen asleep with my dad, and he started shooting at a deer, and
Oh,
it is
yeah.
terrifying.
I have never been that close asleep to a gunshot.
Like
no.
the closest I've come is like a really loud thunderclap. Like, you know, when sometimes like
Well, the
you'll
lightning
jolt
that
awake.
hit a corner was pretty loud.
Oh yeah, that one was.
I got up
freaky.
and said some expletives. This was just this summer. The KBGR did a coverage on the lightning hitting it, but
Yeah. Split a treat, right? Like a house kitty corner from us.
Yeah, he just like Rich tells the best stories. They're so fun.
Rich is really funny.
I've heard them all so many times. I can't believe, like, every time. Oh, we have 12 people and we just lost 3, so we have 3 new people. And every time we get a new person, Rich has to tell all the stories again.
He just gets another opportunity to tell them.
Oh, it
Jeremy
kills
can probably
me.
tell the stories better than Rich could.
Oh man, he just.
What you should do is when he starts telling the story, you just take over.
Oh, I should. I can't. There's a joke that he tells. That's a really mean, long, drag-oning joke that just drags on, and then there's like no punchline. It's just stupid. And so I interrupt him. I do not let him tell that joke because it is just
Like,
mean.
orange, I didn't say whatever.
Yeah, it's worse than that. But so yeah. But every
the
time I
break
hear
from the
all
first
of these
joke.
stories. Yeah, right. So I always do love him when he does tell them. They're all good, but I've heard them 100 times. I hadn't heard that one. So that one was like that was special to me, and I forgot about it. I want to tell you guys these things, and I forget. The memory can only recall so much. But so.
That was hilarious.
Keeping in the animal theme, yeah. I try to put myself in the shoes, right? And it's like knocking over a kerosene lamp, and like shooting at it indoor. Like the first thing is, it's like that's gonna go through and through. Hello,
Yeah.
Like, the person didn't have that that thought process to be like, I probably
He was
shouldn't
drunk.
do this, But yeah, Chris, the only I mean, besides being at like a firing range and stuff, you're never asleep. But it's you're out in the deer stand, you'll hear gunshots. You're like, oh, that guy got a deer.
But to have somebody shoot it off right next to you, like your dad and the gun.
Yeah, he's like, and he warned me. He's like, we fall asleep and I see a deer. I'm not gonna be like, hey, wake up.
Right.
Right.
My favorite thing, Chris, when I would go hunting with my grandpa Buck, funny enough, his name was Buck, is old people have the coolest, for lack of a better, party tricks. They do, right? I mean, they do. My grandpa Buck would know, based off how a gunshot sounded, if it was audible, he would know whether they hit him or not. So we'd be sitting there, and if we heard a gunshot, he'd be like, oh, he missed. And then you'd hear a couple seconds later, again, and I was like, how do you do that? And he was so consistent. If he called out a miss, you'd always hear a second or third gunshot. You'd be like,
Really?
oh, he missed. I'm like, how do you know that? Like, are you so, like, he just would hear, like, the way the bullet would sound different versus if it hit it, like, thump, and hit a target versus not. But
Was he in the military or anything?
he wasn't. No, he just hunted forever. Like, he wouldn't miss hunting.
You met Buck today.
Yes.
Yeah, he told me today. This is the third time in his life he never went out hunting since he was of age, just because of how old he is now. So he turned 80 in March. So, yeah, but he would hear cool things. Anybody have any old person cool stories?
Old person cool story.
I mean,
Just a story about you, Jeremy. I mean,
ooh.
old people cool
Oh,
stories.
tell your mailbox story.
Oh, okay. Back to the mailbox. All right.
You
So
got dementia Jeremy over here.
Right?
So,
like,
uh,
the old man in the room.
it's just and I know how they work. It's just
If you have to say you know how they work, I don't think you know how they work.
Are there many
So-
options for a mailbox?
well.
I know,
So
seriously.
it's as part of the story.
okay.
flag
okay.
up, mail there to go out, mail down, or the flag down.
Yeah.
All right, so we get accustomed to things by the way that we're raised. Some people are raised putting peanut butter on one side of their bread. Some people aren't, Some people are used to pepper having more holes in the shaker. I'm just saying. So
These are all things we talked about on the podcast.
my
Yes, but
does a salt or pepper have more holes?
pepper.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Team Tiffany. Kara was
this
right
is-
about how
She's your own
Well,
team.
because they
now.
make the P and then the S, so there's more holes with the P than the S.
I was raised
Right?
as in you want more pepper to come out. So pepper has more
Oh, well,
holes.
I didn't
Salt
know about
has
that part.
less holes because it's not good for you. So if it's got less holes, you don't end up putting as much on. Kara was raised the opposite way, that you need salt in your life.
Yes.
So it's got more holes. The problem is we found manufactured
Okay, when
shakers
you hear
that go
any-
both ways.
Yeah.
When you hear something though, it's not the pepper of life; it's the salt of life.
I've never heard either of those.
Really?
Mm.
No.
There's a say.
I've heard spice of life.
So back to the mailbox
To the
story.
mailbox.
So the way that I was, and then when you make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, do you put peanut butter on one side and then the jelly next, and then the bread on top, or do you put PB on one side, jelly on the other, and then put it together?
You put one on one side and one on the other and put it together.
Yes, girl.
I put peanut butter, and then I put the jelly, and then
Why
I put
would
the
you
bread
do
on
that?
top.
Because you have to put the leftover of the peanut butter on the knife on the other side so the jelly will stick better to the bread.
I have never had a problem making a sandwich. And then when you go to put them together, they don't fall off because you're bringing the clean piece.
I just want to know how
Well-
much jelly you're putting on the one side. That's
I
gonna
know
just
how
go
to make a PB&J.
right
That
off of the piece of bread.
is for sure. I'm just saying. I know how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
But you don't know how a mailbox works?
I was gonna say, Chris,
I
didn't
do.
you just say if you have to say you know how to do something, you clearly don't know how to do it? So Jeremy
Exactly.
just said, I know how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So does he really actually know how to make one?
I know how to use a mailbox. You have to hear the story and which way I conveyed it to Chris.
Heidi on Facebook says, Tiffany, you went, so that's why you said you're not coming back until Sunday evening.
That's my sister.
Oh, okay.
She would be watching.
She actually watches quite
she-
a few of our podcasts.
She does.
Are you like double crossing her right now? Have we like stumbled upon like you're like, oh, I'm just not feeling
It's
well.
her
I can't
criminal
come and hang out."
background.
Oh yeah.
No.
No, I was thinking it was her pet's criminal background, not her criminal background. The turtle had to go away because it was shady.
No. Oh, goodness. What have I become? Oh, it's such a good.
But no, you didn't tell a fib to get here, did you?
No.
You weren't like, that's what Chris was getting at too.
Yeah,
No,
you were-
she
you were
needed
like,
me
"Oh, I
to babysit
can't-"
Mondays.
It's like, oh, I can't possibly come over and help you move
Proof
that
she
horrible.
can't babysit
I am
tomorrow.
out of the
Yeah,
state.
I can't help you
Monday.
dispose of your illegal pets. Sorry, I'll.
She owns my illegal pets. No.
So, all right, back to the
Not
mailbox
implicated.
story.
The whole family just crumbles now from one podcast.
No, she really doesn't. I promise.
Growing up, my parents have been self-employed, or at least my mother, for a majority of her life. And watching my mother be self-employed, it was routine. Almost every day when I would spend time with her, she would have to run by the mailbox. Being that she always had something that had to hit the deadline.
Okay.
So when I grew up and I naturally had to mail, I just used mailboxes. And it's annoying because you got to find out where they are.
There's fewer and fewer of them.
There's
every day.
not as many as they used to be.
No.
I have my staples, and when we moved from Cloquet to Duluth, I had to find a new mailbox, and now I don't have a place to get rid of my cardboard. But anyways,
Hold on, are you saying that you put cardboard into public mailboxes?
no. So Cloquet had free cardboard recycling, and now that we don't live here anymore, I don't know where to put my
Oh,
cardboard.
I see. You're making a connection that nobody else could have possibly.
I do that to
made.
Kara all
He
the
does
time,
it
and she
all
makes
the
me angry.
freaking time. Like he'll start on one topic and just be going on and on about this one thing, and then all of a sudden it'll be another thing, and I'm like, how does this connect to what we were talking about? I don't even get it. And I'm like, I'll have to stop, and he's like, oh, I'm talking about this now.
So
Out. Like,
a key staple in any relationship is trust. And when I put a mail in the mailbox, I trust.
I put a mail in my mail.
When I put a letter or an envelope or a bill in the mailbox, I trust,
Wow.
like as in a mail station mail slot. Like if I go
a mail
drive by the
station?
post office.
Like a post office?
Yes.
There's a
mail
business up here
station?
called Mail Station.
There is.
What? Really?
Yeah, there is.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
mail station in Cloquet.
Yeah, there's two. There's one in Duluth too.
Yeah, I love the mail station. They're really nice, and they do a really good job packaging. And they work with FedEx, UPS, all major.
Yeah, not that we need to plug them, but if you have a bunch of different places that are going to do pickups, just bring it to the mail station.
Bring it to
They'll
the
take
mail
care of it
station.
for
They're
you.
awesome.
Yeah, I don't have those.
Anyway, so if I put a mail in the actual, not home mailbox, I trust that it's going to get to its destination. So I've known, like word on the street was, you can put outgoing mail in your mailbox. So a couple years ago, I did it for the first time, and it was a life changer for me. Because why drive to the post office if you can just put it in your mailbox and put the little
Jeremy's
flag up?
entire life, he's like,
So-
what does this magic flag do?
What did you think it was for?
Well, I just didn't trust that it would go out. Like, I didn't think the mailman would take it from there and
So
be
basically,
responsible.
You don't trust our mailman.
No, I do now. That's why this works so well.
But for 31 years, you did not trust
It's
the mailman.
just easier to put it in the mailbox, but it's not. It's just go easier to drive to the big blue mailbox and you drop it in there, and then it says this is going to go out by 4 o'clock or whatever time. You know it's going to get picked
So
up.
You could just put that on your mailbox. Would that make you feel
So-
better?
I
Wh-
use it.
So without all the extra context Jeremy was giving for this story, he's like, "Oh yes, I sent something out, blah 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 blah," and he's talking about like how awesome it is that you can just send it from his own mailbox. Like, wait, did you not know that this is a thing? He's like, "Yeah, I didn't have to drive to the whatever," and it's like, you never had to, right? And it's just like, and then finally he went back and explained the whole story, which makes sense.
Yeah, it's just
Jeremy.
I just watched
But-
my mom use the mailbox that was never on the house. She never sent out any of her mail because it was always deadlines. It was
Well,
like I need this to
wasn't-
go out by.
Do
4
you guys have like a mail slot? Really, you didn't even have a mailbox.
Not in some of the places, no. Yeah, no, in the other, in one of the houses, it was a mail slot. Which, what do you do then?
yeah,
Huh?
just tape it to the thing. Like,
And so it's gotten even better. So Menards is a huge local chain we've talked about. I got somebody else's rebate the other day.
Ooh.
Right?
Right. What'd you do?
And it
Spent
needed.
it.
Okay, we've talked about this before. If I get a wrong package, I deliver it. I will deliver that package.
Send it back to the post office.
Well, no, but like
Or the
FedEx,
mail station.
you know? Yeah, I should have just brought it to the mail station.
Just take it back to them. They'll figure it out.
No, so like my neighbor got a package and it was delivered to my front door, and I took it and I brought it to him, and I'll do that for packages. I don't know why, but for mail, mail is a no-go. So I do put mail back in the mailbox with the
Yes.
flag up, and then he catches it. And then
What do you write on the mail?
I don't touch it. I just put it
don't?
back in.
You don't
and
write
he
anything
has-
on there?
I trust that he figures it out.
well, yeah, because you should be able to look at it at that
Yeah,
point
and
and
be
see
like,
that
oh,
no, it's the wrong address.
And wrong address.
You
This
don't-
is 1444, not 1448.
Bingo.
Although we've gotten stuff for people who must have been previous residents.
Yes,
Yeah,
now
we
previous
get a lot of
residents,
that.
I put on there
Return
no
to
longer
sender.
return
Yeah.
to sender.
See,
no
I've done
longer
that
here.
too.
Yep.
And I mean, we lived in our house for 12 years. Up until the last day we were there, we still got old people's mail. And most of it was junk.
Yeah.
And I just send it back.
Jeremy's poor dad always gets mail from me.
Well, yeah, because Kara has a local credit union account,
That's at 0 because I haven't used it since we got married.
and so they still send all of our correspondence to our old house, and my dad will give us some of them, and then one or two of them will be opened up, and he's like, "Oh, I didn't notice." the
Time to
name."
take him to prison.
I know, right? He's like, "I didn't notice the name. I didn't look," and I'm like, "Yeah, sure you didn't."
He's just like, how rich is Karen now?
Right?
Still zero.
He's gonna
Okay.
see, right? He's gonna see a spike one day, just like a few grand chucked into my account to be like, "What's
$60
Karen
million.
planning?"
So Heidi said we finally did watch The Mandalorian to be back on topic.
Ooh.
Girl.
But then to go immediately back off topic, David said the cardboard dumpsters are gone here.
I know they are at Python's was the name of the recycling center, which breaks my heart. That was a great service, and everybody should have that service available to them. Public cardboard recycling.
Well, you
It's a
just be
game
like
changer.
Jeremy and just put it in the blue mailboxes now.
Well, then my neighbor walked over, and he talk about.
That's very tough.
I mean, I was gonna say, Tiffany,
Yeah.
you should have just been with me, and you would have been like used to being your criminal activity. my neighbor comes up to me and he goes, "Oh, do you know such and such church?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know where that is." And he goes, "They take cardboard. Like they get money for their cardboard. So bring it there." So Kara and I, I'm like, okay. So we go there and we take it to the cardboard. Not only is it locked, there's a freaking camera watching the recycling center. So I'm like, here I am trying to like put cardboard in there. I look up and see the camera. I'm like,
Nope.
put it in the trunk and drive away. It's like, oh, apparently that wasn't good intel, I guess.
He's just trying to get you thrown to jail.
Yeah.
I was being lazy one day working at the gas station, and so like you'd have to, like normally to take out the trash, you'd either take it out the one emergency exit, which they weren't super fond of you doing,
Right.
or you'd have to take it all the way around the back of the thing and on the other side of the car wash. I was like, screw that! Like I just threw it in the trunk of my car and drove it around. But somebody saw me unloading the garbage bags from the back of my car and thought I was just throwing my regular trash away. Called the cops. I'm in my work uniform for the store that is a place or whatever. And so then, and of course, we know every police officer in town because they come in or whatever. So they show up and like, what's going on? I was like, I'm just throwing away the trash. And this guy thinks that I'm breaking the law, apparently. And like, what type of disposition do you have to call the police on somebody and then stay there and wait for the police to show up?
Wow.
Unbelievable.
There are very nosy people, especially in small towns. It's like, what are they doing?
So,
How
It's
dare
like, I'm
you?
literally just trying to do my job at
I
lazy.
have
Come
nothing
on.
else to do.
so Chris, what's happened to me before? And so pilots pee in these things called piddle packs. And it's
Very manly sounding.
yeah, it's it looks like a Christmas stocking, and then it's got powder in it that swells up and it gels up so it doesn't leak, and then they roll it up and then they throw them out in the trash. So one of our
I
garbage.
think they pop the cockpit.
Right?
Yeah,
There's,
right.
there's a little hole in the thing, and just like boop.
Yeah, pack a piddle pack parachute.
Right.
Can you
So
imagine having something like that fall out of the sky and hit you in the head?
Oh,
to add a little bit of
gross.
emphasis to
Got
the
whacked by the piddle
story is our garbage are dang near biohazard because they have human piss in them, and a lot of people chew and they're not supposed to.
Oh,
and
my work's garbage is biohazard. Like
Um,
I'm surprised they don't have a separate canister for that.
at my job.
Yeah.
Anyways, people chew
Really bloody
and then
stuff we do.
Chris, and then they like
Needles we
spit
do.
in the garbage. They'll walk over and they'll just spit right into the can. And there's bags, but it's annoying. And whenever you go to bag it up, you get the smell of.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You're familiar. Anyway, okay. So the moral of the story is you took it around in your car. Our garbage is also very far away. So I have either thrown it in the back of your car or the
Excuse
back
me,
of
what?
my car, and then you go over there and drop it off. There have been times I'm so excited to leave, I've drove home with it, and I forgot it. I go out the next morning and
There
the car,
have been piddle packs in my car?
well, in the garbage bag.
Well, you are never taking my car again. Ever. Oh my gosh.
I thought you were gonna say that you just threw it in the Duluth airport garbage can. It's right there.
I don't know how I feel about this.
That's nasty.
Yeah, I've gone out the next morning.
You,
and it's like,
you illegally possessed government property, Kara. Now you're the criminal.
Not me. Him.
Now you're the
Him.
criminal.
and possession's 9/10 of the law.
Yeah,
Kara.
whose name's on the lease?
Oh yeah, funny.
Oh,
It really is.
Well, it really is mine, but that's fine.
dang it. Well, Jeremy.
Jeremy is 9/10 of the law.
If you would have asked her
Oh,
not in
snap.
context of the story, Kara would have been like, "It's all mine."
Yeah.
But because she doesn't want to go to jail for
Okay.
owning pilot urine.
So Jeremy didn't want to put my name on the lease because he thought my credit would hurt the
Like your terms or whatever.
right.
the interest rate.
Come to find out, when we bought our house a year later, I've actually got a really good credit. Thank you very much.
We couldn't buy the house without Kara,
Yeah.
but she needed to be on there. So there you
Because
go.
of your guys' combined wealth power. Or...
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know what it's called. I'm not an adult.
Income.
Just
Income. There you go.
your adjusted
Wealth
gross
power.
income. Or whatever.
I like
You
it.
guys got a huge wealth power score. Dang. I'm not an economist.
But yeah, so yeah, I've driven home with it. And it's the worst feeling in the whole world. You like get home and I've noticed it when I've gotten home. I look in the back and it's like, oh man, I forgot to dump the garbage off.
If
It's-
I ever open up the back of my car and I see trash back there,
I want to say it hasn't happened in a while. Because Derek takes out the garbage. He's the new guy. So there is that. So, Carrie, you don't have to worry. Ever since Derek started, we make him take
you're
the
never
garbage
taking
out.
my car again.
Well, now we have Derek.
Well, it's Jeremy's car.
I'm not making the payments on
I
it.
mean, if we're spilling the beans, this is really mean, and it's only funny because I thought of it as a joke. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. You let Derek in your car? Like, I take Derek to lunch with me. He's trash.
Oh.
I can do that
Dang.
because he's my friend.
I thought you said because I'm his boss.
No, jokes aside, Derek's an awesome person, but he just loves it when he watches. But that little, can I say the B word? Is that fine?
No.
No? That little turd,
There you go.
that little turd is the only one who's gotten an Xbox pre-order.
Which means when they come out for not pre-order sale, but like pickup sale, Derek, you better be on there working to get me one. That's all I gotta
Here's what I
say.
think he should do. He's just immediately turn around and sell it on eBay and then just wait and buy 3 of them.
Okay,
Right.
so funny story. Thanks a lot, Tiffany. She called me out on saying funny story because I say it too much. But
No, you
but
don't.
but
It's
then
okay.
now she reversed back and
I
she now
did.
she feels bad.
I
Because she was
really
like,
do.
no,
Don't worry
you
about
have
it.
to say it. It's a thing that you do. You have to say it.
Made him
So
turn the light. He
my
didn't- I
buddy
didn't like it.
Kyle was trying to convince Derek to sell it to me, right? And sell it to me, right? And Derek's coming up with all these excuses. So jokingly, don't worry, Kara, I offered him up to $900 to see if he would budge. And he's like, so $750, he was willing but didn't want to. $900, his excuse was, oh, that's just taking advantage of my friends. And Kyle's like, no, not if he wants to pay it. Not if he wants to pay it.
That's capitalism.
That's capitalism, right?
And an angry wife at home.
And so
Yeah, but Jeremy can just hide with his Xbox somewhere else.
the funny part about all this was watching Derek backpedal and squirm when Kyle called him out on this. He said, I can't believe it, Jeremy. Derek's addicted to gaming. Listen to him. Listen to his excuses. He's addicted. He doesn't want to give it up. Derek said, no, I'm not addicted. I'd sell it. It's just taking advantage. And he's like, nope, you're addicted. And Derek just got like red. So you can tell that's like a sore spot for
Poor
him.
baby
Like,
star.
he's so excited because he bought a new headset and he bought a new Scuff controller, which is like a custom built controller. It's not even made by Microsoft. It's like you can.
So it's good.
It's good. It's good. Yeah, it's got paddle. Like you can configure how you
So
want
it's
it.
like the Pro Controller I bought you.
It's like the Pro controller, but just made by a different company. Should I say how much they are? They're $250.
Jeremy,
Dang,
how
this
much
guy's
was the
addicted to
controller I
gaming.
gave you?
That's around the same price point as a Pro controller, isn't
Yeah, I
it?
was gonna say
It's
I bought-
$175, I think,
I'm pretty sure I spent $250 on yours.
and it's on sale right now for $149.
Yeah, well,
I
your
mean, this is
birthday was
last
in
year.
May.
Right.
Or
Prices.
Christmas. Yeah, it was Christmas.
It was Christmas.
It was a sick controller.
It is
It
a
is
sick
a sick
controller.
controller.
Thanks for giving it to me.
Works with computer too, by the way, PC, which is really nice. But
Get-
anyways, and then he bought a really expensive headset. So he was like,
Wait, did he get the Bose?
he did not get to Bose. He got this brand called starts with an A. If any Latin operation forces are watching, what's a really popular headset that starts with an A? They're not Turtle Beaches. They're Astros. Astro headset is what he bought.
I want to get the Bose headset.
Bose makes a gaming headset now, Chris.
For
And it,
millionaires.
well, no, it's not. It's actually not that bad.
It's 200.
300, but
300.
Dang, that's
got-
about $300 more than I'm willing to pay for a gaming headset.
it's
I mean,
got
that's how
noise
much the baby
canceling,
carrier that I want.
and it's got all the Bose speakers and everything. But the best part about the advertisement for it is it said, "You don't look like a gamer. You actually look cool," because it just says Bose on
my
it.
gosh.
dang.
So it's like, I think it says you can look like a pilot because it's like the same style like a pilot would wear when they fly with the thing and the thing. So it's like their pilot lineup. They just turned into gaming.
So here, why can't they just build the microphone into the ear cup right here? Right?
I
What's
don't
the difference
know.
of it being out an extra inch and a half?
I don't
Well,
know.
It's like-
the PlayStation
PlayStation ones were like that. The
Yeah.
PlayStation Premium ones are like that, Chris.
Yeah, yeah.
They're
the only-
wireless and they don't have a boom.
The only unfortunate thing with mine was one of the ears went out.
Yeah, it was faulty wiring.
Yeah,
I
I
took it apart
loved
and
that
fixed it.
headset. It was so nice, and then one of the ears went out, and it was sad, and I had to stop using it.
Yep.
Because it's like when you have absolute zero sound coming in one ear but blasting into the other one, like not even ambient ear because it's covered. It's just, it's weird. It's
keep
like,
running to the right.
When I'm at work, like at office at work, I have to keep one headphone off so I can like hear other people. 'Cause
right. But then
So
you
it's
have
like-
sound coming in the ear at least. But when you have the cup over it and it's blocking all the other noise, it's
Oh.
like you're deaf in that ear. And it's just, ooh, it's weird. I hate it. I can't stand it. Ooh. Sorry.
But
I
go ahead.
actually have a story. So when I was growing up, I cobbled together. So you know how they have like the splitters, so you can have two headphones connected
Yeah.
to one thing or
Yep.
whatever. I had two different headphones where one ear, the opposite ear, had
No
gone out.
way.
So I Frankenstein them together and used the splitter things.
you had them
Oh
both
my
plugged in
gosh.
in
So I
the
had them plugged
splitter.
into one side of one working pair of headphones. We did not have lots of money growing up.
Franken headset. So before what we're gonna transition into now for the last part is if you want to pull up Star Wars leaks, but let's talk about should we talk about episode 1 of The Mandalorian because Heidi specifically asked for it, and now we can put you on the spot.
Oh,
So
no.
when did you watch Mandalorian the first season?
The first season, right when it started.
You did watch
yeah,
it last
yeah,
year.
we were
Yes,
all about
girl.
it. Yeah,
Yeah. And what did you
So
think of
good.
the first episode?
amazing.
Was it
Everything
awesome?
was amazing.
Yeah, it's so much
I
fun.
mean, Baby Yoda was the moment of my life. Right there, I'm like, holy crap, it's Baby Yoda.
I got a lot of Baby Yoda stuff at my baby shower
You
today.
did. You had a lot of Baby Yoda.
Actually, so Kara got 2 of the same from the same in the same round of gifts. She got a stuffed animal and a shirt, and from
two
another
onesies. A Baby Yoda in one package. I got a Baby Yoda stuffy, and 2 Star Wars onesies. And an entirely different package, an entirely different person who has no idea who this person is. I got the exact same Baby Yoda plushie and the exact same Star Wars onesies. These
Dang.
people have no idea who the other person is. I think they're 2 different sizes, the onesies are. So, but one of the Baby Yodas will be coming down here and living at the podcast, and the other one will go to Little Bean.
Ooh, Little Bean. Guess what Kara did today, by the way?
Oops.
I ran
Which,
over there.
We're still not telling everything.
I mean,
Careful.
I know.
So I poked her in the belly at the baby shower, Chris, with a box of cupcakes, like on accident.
Oh, she was just running around shoving cupcake trays everywhere.
So I had the thing of cupcakes, and as I turned, it hit Kara in the belly, and she looks at me and she goes, "You just hit blank," and then said his name, and it like you could hear a pin drop. Everybody turned and they're like, "What?" And Tiffany was, "What?"
Tiffany was the
freaking
only
out.
person who actually heard what I said.
Oh, dang.
So my mom and
Little
my
Mortimer.
Kara's mom were on the other side, and they're like, "Huh, what's going on over there?"
Yeah,
'Cause
and
I'm
it was like, Kara, did I just hear something? And we were like, nope.
and Kara thought it'd be me who spoiled it,
Oh my
and it was not me.
Oops.
So,
Just saying.
Well, and then my other best friend, Mimi, she didn't even like. She was standing 2 feet from us.
And then I told her.
Yeah, and then Tiffany.
But
told
it was
her, that
okay.
fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
So there's a few people now that know
Oops.
Little Bean's name, which is fine.
We also, Chris, got the outfit that we're gonna reveal when he's here, and we bring him on the podcast, just to show everybody if they're curious. We'll bring him on for part of an episode.
Of course, people are going to be curious about what our kid looks like.
I thought, didn't you say it was going to be this little baby Yoda outfit?
Somebody crocheted us one,
Oh,
It's
like
dang.
a legit. It
Legit.
looks like he's got like the poofy collar, like the brown jacket. The whole, and then they're gonna do the only part we didn't get was they do green feet with
little
little
feet.
spikes,
Okay.
little feet spikes, little.
She said the pattern for it's quite difficult. So
Well, that's awesome.
And it's acrylic yarn, so you can throw it in the wash.
yeah.
So it's even.
So if
better.
you do
not
like
wash
actual
regular yarn,
natural
or-
wool yarn,
it would shrink.
then you can't
yeah, it
like
would
you
shrink.
can't wash that. It's like dry clean only or whatever.
Well, what if you made it like 80 sizes too big, so then you could wash it and it'd be the normal size?
Right?
There you go.
I would wonder if there's like the math out there for that. Like, I want to be able to wash this wool sweater. How big do I need to make it so I can wash it?
I have a weird, really quick, tangentially related story to that for some weird reason. In the Back to the Madness that was last month of Achievement going crazy, David played this game called The Day of the Tentacle, and
Okay.
that is a George LucasArts video game.
Wait, what? The one you've been playing?
Well, back a couple days ago, The Day of the Tentacle, that was made by LucasArts.
Wait, what are you playing right now with the weird, creepy?
That's
alien?
Carrion.
Oh, Carrion. Okay.
Yeah, no. Day of the Tentacle is
Yeah,
it's
okay. Come on.
it's actually really cool. It takes place. You time travel in a porta potty.
Oh my gosh.
And your 3 characters get split up. So one's in 1776, one's in modern time, and somebody gets sent to the future where tentacles rule the world. But it's done by George
sounds
Lucas,
kinda
so
fun.
there's all these really cool like.
Except for traveling in a porta potty.
What were we talking about?
Was it-
What were we
was it
just
shows?
talking about?
Shrinking wool sweaters.
There is a thing where
like
you pop a vending machine
that show.
and it gives you
I haven't
100,000
watched it yet.
quarters,
So good.
and a quarter gets you a half an hour, and you can plug all the quarters into the dryer, and then when you fast travel to the future, it finishes, and you pull the little dryer. So actually, they use hamsters as electricity on hamster wheels. So you take a hamster from the modern age, you put it in the freezer, you go to the future, you pull it out of the freezer, you go to the only way to use the hamster to run in your wheel is to thaw him out. You have to put him in the little tiny sweater that shrunk from being in the dryer for
Oh
1,000
my
years.
gosh.
And so you put him in this
So
little.
this is kind of like a roguelike game.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's almost like a type to play
Yeah,
game.
that's a roguelike.
Yep, that's exactly it then. That's it. You just click and then you walk. And
It's
then
like maybe like one of the old Sierra games, like King's Quest, like that type
Absolutely,
of stuff.
yeah.
That sounds cool. I like
yeah,
those.
it's actually pretty fun. And then there's another one called Random Tangent, Full Throttle, and Mark Hamill's a main character in it, which was really cool to see. And it was a motorcycle gang video game. Anyways, we were going to talk about Mandalorian, so really quickly, I'm just going to talk about all the things I like about the episode.
And
If
don't
you
forget,
have
nothing episode 2.
Nope. If you haven't seen episode 1,
Heidi accidentally typed out an episode 2 spoiler. Heidi!
Heidi!
Heidi.
I can't watch.
Well, it's just chat.
David said you have to put him in the microwave first.
Yeah, oh, well, you do, technically. I didn't want to get grotesque.
Give it to my
Heidi.
sister to.
You microwave him to de-thaw him, and then you put his little hamster.
Joe,
why
to
did I
thaw
him?
him.
Yeah, to thaw him. To thaw. Kara yells at me for that all the time. She's like, "Oh, really, Jeremy? How do you de-thaw something?"
You put it in the freezer.
That's right. There you go. I have a witty retort. So I
Episode
love
1.
Timothy Oliphant. I've seen him in a bunch of stuff. A lot of people were maybe complaining about his appearance. The Mandalorian armor didn't fit him. That's the point.
Yeah.
It wasn't
That
made
is
for
the
him.
point. It
Yes.
wasn't his armor.
No.
If my armor.
I love.
And my axe.
I love
Yes.
this. I love how hard they lean.
That's okay, Heidi. It's not like critical information. It's just something that happened in episode 2.
But I love how
very
hard they leaned into the Western theme of that episode.
Oh, it was so good.
It was fun.
That was straight up like
Oh,
Clint Eastwood
about the
type
kids.
stuff, you
Like,
know?
oh, we gotta fight this crate dragon for the kid. Like,
Yeah,
just
because the classic Western trope fighting the crate dragon.
yeah. Baby Yoda hiding in the spittoon. Him riding on the back of the speeder bike was really just adorable.
I just loved
was.
watching his little ears just flapping in the wind. Just it was
Um,
cute.
I'm not gonna lie. As much as it made the trailer epic for the hype, I wish they wouldn't have done the bassinet scene in the trailer because a lot of the stuff from the trailer, the like hype trailer was in just episode 1, so it felt
Yeah.
like we'd already seen some of it.
Yeah.
But
But
here's
that-
the thing: a lot of times when they do that, like, that's the only good stuff you get. It's like they pull all the good things and like,
Yeah.
here's the trailer. It's gonna be awesome, and you watch it like, pfft. And so far, I mean, it's been excellent.
Yes.
What's fun for me is it always goes two ways. People are like, season 2 will never be able to top season 1, but the feedback I've been getting is that people are enjoying season 2 more than season 1, which is really cool. And I wish you had seen the second episode, Tiffany. But
Well, I was driving here,
know.
so
you could have
yeah.
listened.
Excuse.
Just missed the
Possibly.
visuals.
I was-
But the jetpack is flying around, the way he hits
That's episode 2.
Timothy Oliphant in the back.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez, guys. Timothy Oliphant in the
Guys!
back, and he shoots him away, and then he's like, take care of Baby Yoda, whack. Because there's a dent in
okay.
the pack of the pack where he...
In the
Yeah,
pack
it's
of
the
the
Han
pack.
Solo activator switch.
I love the scene where Boba Fett, wham, and he hits him in the back. And then Kara, I have something sad for you. It's you know those do not cry memes?
No.
So it's like if I like read this but try not to cry, but there's videos like try to watch this and not laugh.
Yeah.
So this one's a do not cry, and it's funny, it's silly, it's stupid, but I think it's cute. The thing was maybe Vader kept hiring Boba Fett because he sounded like Rex.
Oh.
That's why he always hired Boba Fett, because he misses Rex.
No
Oh
disintegration.
then-
my gosh, I love that so much.
Yeah, but then you know the people who correct us on it's not Baby Yoda, it's the child. There was a bunch of those style people that got on there and commented and they're like, well, actually, Vader is torn to
Well,
all emotional
actually-
attachment, and he would never do that. And actually, if he found out that Boba Fett was a clone, he would have probably killed him because he equally treats everyone who's involved with him getting snared into Palpatine's trap.
It could have been a subconscious thing where he's like, I like the way this one sounds.
Here's the
You know,
thing.
I just thought it was cute, right? Like, if
Yeah.
you take it at face value as an instant, oh, it's fun. So make Star Wars fun. Theory
Here's
crafting.
the thing, though. Anakin had interactions with Boba Fett.
Absolutely.
Quite a few throughout the Clone Wars
Oh yeah,
TV
but
show.
like yeah. Oh yeah,
But
yeah,
still-
you're right. He would have known.
yeah,
he would have
Boba
known.
Fett. He didn't change
He
his
absolutely
name.
would have known.
So,
Yeah.
So actually, y'all are wrong.
Kara. Hold my nerds. It was just kind of a fun, thought-provoking
Yeah,
thing
weird.
that I hadn't put together yet.
Well, no, but like, why would he want to get rid of the clone? Because the clones all turned sides on Order 66,
Correct,
so
yeah.
he would have trusted him.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And the stormtroopers started out as like
Yeah, the first iteration of stormtroopers
Yeah.
were the leftover clones.
exactly.
Yeah, so yeah, they would have trusted him.
Yep.
Yeah. And then I saw an article that said maybe the character at the end of episode 1 isn't who you think it was.
Wait, what?
And I read it. It was stupid.
Oh!
And I was
You're
like,
talking about Tamora Morrison.
yeah. I was like, obviously it's. I mean, we're spoiling full now. Boba Fett,
Oh,
obviously.
yeah. If you haven't watched episode 1 yet, shame on you.
Seriously.
He's
seriously.
and it's
We
the
warned
last
you.
5 seconds of the thing. You
Yes.
just see him standing on a desert hill.
For those of you who don't know, Tamora Morrison was the actor who played Jango Fett in episode 2,
Who
Attack
was
of
the donor
Clones.
for the clones.
Who was a donor for the clones. And he was Mandalorian, and technically Boba Fett would look like him because he was also a clone, just not with the aging involved.
Right.
Yep.
So
And-
if there were any clones shown at that point, they would have been like, according to the math or whatever, they'd be in their 80s. Whereas Boba Fett would have been about the age that he was.
Yeah, like in the 50s or whatever.
Right.
So speaking, this is not season 2 stuff. This is not episode 2 stuff. This is pure hyperbole. My coworker, everyone wants to spoil Star Wars for me. Like David, my coworker David is like, oh, because I spoiled something for him on accident. So he's like, it's his revenge to ruin a Star Wars moment for me.
I may have ruined the end of episode 1 for Tiffany accidentally.
You did. You texted me right before it.
Oh, that was funny. Okay, in Kara's defense, you guys are like, oh, isn't this so good?
You're like,
and you're not
have you
done
guys
yet.
seen the first episode yet? Oh my gosh! And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, yeah, how
Boba
cool
Fett,
was that?
yes.
And they're like, we haven't seen it yet.
Well, I was like 15 minutes in. So I'm like, this is amazing. And then you go, yeah.
I just
and
assumed you'd
I'm like,
seen
crap.
the whole entire thing.
No. But that's
You
okay.
think Tiffany's a criminal now, Kara? She's gonna wait and she's gonna spoil the best
yes.
thing for you. She will spoil something.
I
That's
will not
important
tell
to you.
your mother the name of your child.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wink,
There.
wink.
Cindy.
But so So anyways, so my buddy Kyle was like, I'm gonna spoil episode 2 of Mando season 2 for you, and I was like, you better not. And he starts talking, and he's like, they reveal how Boba Fett got out of the pit. So I start plugging my ears. So he runs over and he's talking really loud. He's like, there was a cave down there, and Jawas let him out of. And I'm like, dude, will you shut up? I did, you know. And he looks and he's like, you really think that's how he got out? Boba Fett was smuggled out of the Sarlacc pit by Jawas. Like, he's like, dude, that's not what it's about at all. And it's not. Episode 2 is not nearly. It's not even. I don't even think they're gonna touch on Boba Fett's appearance. They might just leave it and let us know that he's alive.
Yeah, like he's not going to be back for like the rest of the series.
Right.
That's literally the one
Like-
he was in one shot.
Oh, that would kill me though. Like I want there to be more Boba Fett. I want him to get his armor back. I don't want there to be a picture of Tamora Morrison. I want him to get his armor and everything.
It could be they could go anywhere with that. They could do a whole word on the street is it in Star Wars leaks, Chris? There might be a Boba Fett spinoff.
I'm all for that.
I
I
have
think that-
seen
yeah,
something
I
like
think
that. I don't know
that's
if it was
that
in Star
before
Wars
that.
leaks or not.
So that might be a thing that they do. They like introduce the character again as for his spinoff, and that would be about
I'd be
it.
cool with that. I'd be cool with that.
awesome.
So, but so Star Wars leaks are a lot of what's going on, but you can pick and choose a couple. Do some Star Wars leaks with us, and then we'll be close to wrapping up.
All right, let's see if this thing's actually going to work. Hey, there we go.
Woo!
We've got to the Star Wars portion of the show. I don't feel like doing the whole intro. We're doing Star Wars leaks. I'm tired. Let's just do it. There's a new character poster for The Mandalorian Season 2. That's Timothy Oliphant in Boba Fett's armor.
Nice.
Cobb Vanth.
Oh, you know that already.
Boy, yes.
So from episode 1, someone thinks that they've identified the sound of Slave 1 inside of one of those scenes.
Really?
Interesting. I kind of want to go back now.
As a quick tangent, Kara or somebody brought it up during our viewing. Did somebody bring up Old Ben made the Krayt Dragon sound? Did you say that?
I thought you did.
Did I say? I don't think I said it. Do you remember talking about that, Chris?
I remember somebody saying it. I swear it was you.
Apparently, the sound Old Ben makes to scare off the Sand People is a Krayt Dragon sound.
Okay.
It's like
I know that the sound has changed in different releases of the film.
has it?
Yep.
But somebody put that together, and I thought somebody brought it up the night of. Like, is that the sound Old Ben made to scare him off?
I swear it was you.
Yeah, 'cause,
it's-
like in the, I think of the newer sound would be the one that would be the Krayt Dragon sound.
Right.
They used to be like a woo like noise,
Yes.
and now it's whatever.
Well, George Lucas likes to change things in every single release.
Oh yeah, so okay, I this was on Star Wars Leaks. So the rumored Mandalorian spinoff is apparently a Boba Fett miniseries, and it's going to film before season 3 of The Mandalorian.
There you go.
Okay.
Rock on.
That means it would air before season 3 of The Mandalorian, most likely.
Well, maybe.
I'm cool with that. I would love that. I love Boba Fett.
He is awesome.
His backpack's got jets.
He's Boba Fett.
The Mandalorian season 3 production. So yeah, so production for season 3 of The Mandalorian is going to be starting soon.
Yes.
On a sad note, I heard that the Cara Dune's storyline is not going to go where they originally intended.
I've heard that.
Yeah, they're like changing her storyline for the less amount of airtime, which is a bummer because she was an awesome character
Yeah,
in
she
season
was.
1.
And they actually said her name correctly.
Spelled it wrong though.
Spelled it wrong, pronounced it correct.
Let's see here. A lot of comic things. Oh, that's cool looking. All right, so there's after speaking out, John Boyega says he had a very honest, very transparent conversation with a Disney exec. To quote, there was a lot of explaining on their end in terms of the way that they saw things. They gave me a chance to also explain what my experience was like.
That's cool.
So maybe there will be something for that character in the future.
Yeah.
Thanks to the Disney Plus subtitles, we now know one of the X-Wing pilots pursuing is named Carson.
Oh, cool. They actually put it in there?
Yeah.
I saw today on Facebook. Not obvious, but Dave Filoni was one of the X-wing pilots in season 1, and that's an episode 2 thing.
I realized that as I was saying it. That's why,
Dave Filoni is an X-wing pilot, and then the other pilot that did all the speaking is actually I don't believe an actor, and he is just a 501st member.
Oh, that's cool.
And so they 501st
Really?
was bragging about him on Facebook today, as in good stuff like. we're so proud of him, and here he is in like all of his armor and everything, and so he got to be in an episode. I'm sure maybe that had something to do with the whole they borrowed 501st Stormtroopers for season 1.
I wonder, because on the Star Wars Celebration page today, I saw somebody with a Black Series character, and he said it was of himself.
Interesting.
And so I was like, what? That doesn't even make sense. Can you, like, personalize them? But that would make sense if he was 501st.
Yep.
Interesting.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then the last one is from a certain point of view for Empire Strikes Back. They've turned
Excellent
the
book.
Wampa into a tragic figure.
Of course.
I'm not surprised that
Omi.
they did. Yeah, like Omi. They did it, and I cannot wait for that book. They're so much fun.
They're good
Yeah.
books.
They flip
Yeah.
things on their head, and they only take, if you've got 5 minutes to put towards a book, you can get through one chapter and get a
Yeah.
different perspective on
Nice.
Star Wars.
Have you heard of from a certain point of view?
No.
So it's just basically like a whole ton of stories from Star Wars. They did A New Hope, and these random small time characters in the movie,
Yeah.
they give them a backstory.
That's awesome.
So like the Jawas that are on Tatooine, there's one specific one.
Yep.
I forget his
Okay.
name.
He was supposed to wipe R2's memory,
Oh.
and he like hooked it up and viewed everything that he went through, and R2 basically told him, please don't wipe my memory. I am on an important mission. And this
Yeah.
Jawa listened to him.
Well,
That's
R2's
awesome.
memory was never wiped. Anakin never wiped it during the
No.
Clone Wars. He was never wiped during the Rebellion, the Resistance. So R2's got a huge backlog of history. And then like the garbage monster,
Nice.
That like pulls
Omi?
Luke down.
Yeah. Uh huh.
she's got a whole backstory, and
That's
it's really
awesome.
sad. And I
Yeah.
like Omi, and
Literally, the Empire runs around to these planets, sucks up that alien, and uses them as garbage disposal aliens in their ship. So it's like organic
It's
garbage
cheap.
disposable. Yeah.
Interesting.
For matter, you can't just blow stuff out into space.
That's
Apparently,
polluting, Jeremy.
and destroying a planet isn't polluting. Is it because it's vaporized?
Yeah, it'll just burn up in the atmosphere.
It would have been Vader looks at Tarkin. Yes, disintegration
Yeah.
of the planet.
so here's okay, guys. I figured it out. Here's what they do with the Death Star, at least. They just shoot the garbage out,
And then they
into
hit it with a
space.
Death Star laser beam.
Exactly. Boom.
you go.
Gone.
It's probably really
Vaporized.
expensive to shoot that.
Do you think the
like-
Empire cares?
Billions
No.
of credits just for per shot.
Right. That sounds like the subreddit. They did the math. That'd be a cool one to do the math on. How much it costs to blast off.
Oh,
the
that
Star
would be
Destroyer.
cool.
That would.
That would be really
I'm
fun.
just gonna Google that real quick.
And see if there's
How
a way
expensive is it to shoot the Death Star?
If there's not, we should make a video about it. It'd be funny.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be quite expensive to shoot a missile from an F-16. So, I mean, think of the size of that compared to the size of a Death Star.
Well,
I mean,
how much does it cost Obi-Wan to activate his lightsaber? Damn.
All right, well, so there's two things that I found here. So the first thing is, according to CNET, the Death Star would cost $7.7 octillion per day to operate.
Oh my god.
holy mother.
So that's
like,
million, billion, trillion, quadrillion, pentillion, whatever 5 is, sextillion, septillion, octillion.
The fact that you know
Like,
all
that's-
those, I'm lost after a trillion, just so
Yeah.
you know.
yeah.
That is crazy.
So
Oh
that's just
my
like the daily
Lord.
operational costs.
And that's not shooting it. That's just, well, it's the size of a planet or a moon. So, good grief.
This one ends with a joke, which is funny to me. So one, so million, billion, trillion. So this is obviously using different math than CNET did. So they basically explain, it's like if you look at how much energy would be necessary and how to convert and like the amount of matter and blah 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 blah. It said to convert 2.4 times 10 to the 16 tons of hypermatter into the equation, we get the absolutely mind-boggling figure of, let's see, that's billion, trillion, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 4.29 times 10 to the 10 credits per shot.
Wow.
It's somewhere in the like the decade billion, whatever. I don't even know what it is. Like it's like a billion dollars.
Oh my god.
Crazy.
And he says more like the Debt Star.
That's one of my favorite robot chickens is when it's of Vader calling Palpatine after the Death Star was destroyed to tell him the bad news. And he's like, what do you mean it was blown up? You know how much that thing cost? And he's like, buy a bunch of kids? He's like, oh yeah, just rebuild it real original. Who's gonna pay for it? You got a ATM on that torso light bright of yours? So that was a joke, and I just love forever.
The top reply to this is the assumption of the collection of hypermatter in the Galactic Empire has the same expense as the collection of antimatter on Earth seems erroneous.
I mean,
So-
how did that not bring the Empire to its knees? Just the cost of the Death Star itself.
Well, you got to think there's thousands and thousands and thousands of
Planets and-
systems.
yeah.
That they taxed the heck out of.
You know, so-
or just took materials from.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like
That's
the
true.
cost is probably just like how much are they willing to shoot other people.
Which, I mean, they just started planning with billions of people. So, I mean, just saying.
Think about that's funny. So think about this. So is the credit backed by like the gold standard where there's because they literally blew up money. So did they like drain Alderaan's bank account into their own? Like, sorry, suckers, you lose. Like Age of Empires, when you win, you get like their
Oh, yeah.
assets. It's like, oh, we blew you up, so we take all your assets because they just blew
Also,
it
like
up.
that's an interesting thing. Is like you got to think like electronic currencies. Like how is that all regulated?
Right.
You know, it's like they have like the credit chips or whatever that they use, like
Yeah.
for physical transactions. But like, who's to stop like the Empire from just saying we have 100 infinity billion credits?
And Alderaan was wealthy. That was an inner rim
Yeah.
planet that had a lot of money. So what happened to all of Alderaan's money? There's another video that we could make.
What happened to all
They
that
must
money?
bank-
Got vaporized.
I mean, they probably bank through Coruscant. So, I mean, how much money do
Yeah,
you
the
think is
banking clan
actually-
probably just kept it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The darn banking clan.
Well, they suck.
They do suck. Oh, poor Tiffany. We jumped into nerd Star Wars tonight.
Okay.
We haven't gone that deep into nerd Star Wars in a while. But so Baby Yoda, do you love the Mando?
Yes.
Mandalorian himself,
Yes,
Pedro Pascal. Does a
absolutely.
really good job. Is the voice
Yeah.
super fun.
I love
Really?
Pedro Pascal.
Actually, Chris, Tiffany and her husband are somewhat film connoisseurs. You guys enjoy. I mean, they introduced us to Baby Driver,
Yes.
and they've been going every year instead of watching Christmas movies. You guys watch?
James Bond movies.
Ooh, nice.
How cool is
That's
that?
awesome. Who's your favorite Bond?
Oh, goodness. Well, currently Daniel, because, I mean, right? Like, seriously, I cannot get enough, and I am really bummed I didn't get to see his movie this year, because it's not out.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
not out,
yeah.
yeah.
It never came out, and I was really looking forward to that.
It'll come out.
So besides
Eventually.
Daniel
So-
Craig, who's the runner-up?
Well, that's really tough. Sean Connery. Yeah, Sean.
John?
Yeah.
No, do you watch like all the Bonds during
All of them, including the bad one.
what's
Thunderball?
Thunderball's not that bad.
I can't remember which the bad one is. I
No,
like all of them.
They went
so.
and made her magic.
Oh yeah, because for some reason there was I think I know the history of this a little bit. There was a
Yeah.
dispute about who actually because the Broccoli family holds the rights.
Mm-hmm.
But there was like a story that was
The
published.
Broccoli family?
Yeah, like Albert Broccoli or whatever is a guy who owns
Yeah.
the. But there was a story that was published like in some other thing that gave them the rights to like redo one of the movies,
Mm-hmm.
basically. And this is after Sean Connery had retired from playing
Yes.
James Bond. They bring him back in this off-brand one,
It wasn't.
and
good.
it was like it's not good.
It's not. It's pretty sad.
But yeah, it's interesting. One of my dreams would be to shoot a Bond movie.
That'd be so cool.
So
That's
I
so
did.
awesome.
I think it was the Latin Operations Forces that posted this. That the next person after Daniel
Oh, it's a
Craig is
female.
done with James Bond is gonna be
Yeah.
a female.
Well, I think he only signed a 5-picture deal, so this would be his last one.
See, I thought. What was the last one?
Well, okay,
Skyfall.
you guys talk
Was
about a bad
There
Bond
was one
movie.
after Skyfall.
Yeah.
For me, it's Quantum of Solace.
Casino Royale.
That was the second one.
Yeah, I did not like that.
Quantum
one.
of Solace is
Quantum
terrible.
Solace.
Yeah, it is
Skyfall.
bad. Skyfall and
I thought the
Casino
fourth
Royale
one
are
was gonna be the
brilliant
last one.
movies.
Yeah.
They're great.
I thought he retired after the fourth one, but now he's coming back for a fifth one. Or
Yeah.
he came back for a fifth one.
And that's the one that hasn't
that
come
one.
out yet.
Yeah, because wasn't Tom Hiddleston? Wasn't he up for running?
He
I
was
thought
like
so.
one of the
Yeah.
people. They were talking to him, and then the guy that plays the Guardian door in Thor.
Oh, you're talking
Albert
about
Yes,
Idris
he
Elba.
was.
Idris Elba.
Idris Elba.
Yeah.
I love him
He's
so
awesome.
much.
If you guys should watch Luther. If you like Idris Elba, watch Luther.
Yes.
Okay.
I
So
haven't had
Luther
it.
is so good.
It's on Netflix, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I just randomly started watching. I was like, oh, Idris Elba, cool.
Yeah.
And
We
I was like,
started watching
oh my
Vikings
god,
today, so
it's freaking awesome.
It changes your mind. Like,
Yeah.
it's just kind of, I feel bad watching it, but I'm so love it.
yeah,
Luther,
it's
the movie.
it's awesome.
Or the show, yeah.
okay. All right.
Yeah, we started watching Vikings. That's I don't know why I haven't watched before. It's
Well,
actually
they lose the '98 NFC Championship game.
The Vikings really can't win anything.
Well, they beat the Packers.
They did.
So,
Take that. Everything about Wisconsin.
That's true. That's true.
yeah,
Just
Quantum of
laughing.
Solace is the worst.
It is so bad. I don't know how that was made into a movie.
Gabe commented like about 5,000 hours ago. Great episode today, you guys. I haven't talked much, but I've been listening to the whole episode. Playing Battlefront 2 on my PC and the graphics is amazing.
Oh,
Amazing.
congratulations on your computer. Has he left or was he just listening?
I'm sure he's still listening.
So Gabe, awesome. He sent us a picture of his computer.
It
I
looks
love that
sweet.
Darth
It is
Vader's in there. It's so great.
Sick.
And all the lighting's red.
All the lighting.
Wow.
Looks awesome.
Here, I'll see if
Yeah.
I can pull it up for you.
Speaking of, so while you're doing that, so I was at a jewelry store filming a commercial the other day. I'm a commercial producer, for those of you who don't know. And someone pointed something out, like, because I have that face mask that says Star Wars on it, they're like, oh, you might be interested in this. And they point out, they have these
oh, wow.
Here's
jeweled
Vader.
Star
That's
Wars
awesome.
figures.
I love it.
Really?
Yeah, and so it's like they have C-3PO with a red arm.
No way.
And then I have a picture.
You might not recognize me because of my red arm.
It's embarrassing how bad quality this picture is. Considering I just said that I professionally record things. But let's see if I can get it pulled up here. I don't even really know how the camera on my phone works. It takes me a minute to find things. I can hold this away from the streaming stuff.
Oh yeah, right.
It's a lightning storm, guys.
So there's there's also in the same display case. There's also Crystal Batman in the Batmobile.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
But it's Luke, Leia, Darth Vader, C-3PO, a Stormtrooper, and Yoda. I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, I'll come take a look.
It's really blurry, but you can see.
Oh, that's sweet. They're like crystal.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
I don't know how much they were, but everything else in that store is crazy expensive. So I would imagine
Wow.
it would not be cheap.
That reminds me of Chris, just the fact that when I was young and I went to Harrods with my mom for the first time in London.
Harrods will blow your mind how expensive
And
things
we
are.
saw a gold. I've talked about this story. I saw a gold-plated lobster, and it was or a solid gold lobster. It was 10,000 pounds, and I was like, "Who has enough money to spend 10,000 pounds on a
So what's he
golden
buy instead?
lobster?" So I was in Lewis, in the south of England, and I found a bronzed crab, and I bought that.
And guess what we still have?
A bronzed crab.
Yep.
Okay.
How much was that? Like 8 pounds?
It was like less than $20. So I was like, "Yeah, I can't afford gold lobster, but I got my bronzed crab."
Okay.
But it only has meaning to me because of how that lobster made me feel.
He's missing a leg.
He fell off the shelf and broke his leg.
So,
But he's
No
got
crabs
7
can
other ones or
regenerate.
whatever.
so here's the funny thing though. Like, I had him up at home, and I found this perfect little piece of driftwood with a little knot
It's
in
cute.
it. And so when he stands there, his missing limb will make him fall over. But this little piece of driftwood that I found, with a
She
little
props
knot
him
in
up
it,
with it.
It looks like he's stepping on it and it holds him upright.
Yeah.
He's a little pirate peg leg crab friend.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yep.
Crab Beard the pirate.
So,
Yes.
well, is there anything else, Chris?
Oh my goodness, probably. Let me.
Did we do all the things?
We did all the things.
We did all the things. Did we get any listener mail?
We have not got any listener mail.
All right.
Gabe's too
Well,
busy, rightfully so, playing on his new computer, which is absolutely awesome.
Oh yeah. So at some point, we definitely. Like, I don't know how fast you'll be able to like turn stuff around or whatever, but like just like even just like a Rise of the Podcast hat or T-shirt or something. If you're gonna wear a hat, you have to wear a Rise of the Podcast hat.
Okay, deal.
Sure.
My mom
That's-
says I look better at wearing a hat, but
But
Chris,
what she's saying is you look
harder.
ugly bald, Jeremy.
Yes.
That's what she's telling you. I'm saying you look beautiful just the way you are. So I'm better than your mom.
Chris has a hard time lighting me
Oh, with the hat on.
with a hat on.
So you need like a different kind of hat. Like not.
Like
So,
a
you know-
beanie, which is what I want to wear.
Okay.
Here's
So
what we
yeah,
do.
I was just gonna say, so you know how like the visors without the middle part, they do
Yeah.
the opposite of
Yes.
that, but that's
It's
just
just
a
a-
beanie.
Just the hat part without
No,
the
no, no.
bill.
What you do is you make the bill clear. You make it see
There
through.
you go.
Oh no, you get the hat part with a little propeller on
Get
the
a
top.
fedora
Oh,
or
the propeller
something.
hat.
Yeah. Or what's
Oh,
the
No,
one
because then
with
everything
the
would
hat?
look like Harold or whoever they.
Or what we do
Aw.
is we get like the lights that people clip onto their hats that
Oh,
face
yeah.
have it face the other way.
Goodness.
It lights his face.
Gabe said, "Don't forget to join their Discord."
I will not.
Oh, yeah.
I will find the Discord invite and join it.
All
Hey,
right.
I've been commenting, and then I called out Joshy for sharing bad news with me, and he immediately replied back with flames and a frowny face. I love Joshy. He's so
Wait, what was the bad news?
that a movie wasn't airing, or no, I don't remember, but it was bad news. It was something sad.
Sean Connery denying.
No.
You know. It
That's
was,
very-
Well, Chris, you take us out. I'll see if I can find it.
All right. Well, thank you guys for sitting with us this whole time. Give this video a like if you want to see more content like this in the future, or if you wish you could participate live but you can't. Comment down below with some bad news of your own. How about that? We'll frowny face it for you. Subscribe if you're not already. Ring the notification bell to be notified every time we go live or upload a new video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and of course,
may the force be with you.